Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be attempting to recreate one of my Pinterest pins. I came across this pin by C New York on Pinterest. It is a teddy quilted pullover sweater. And I believe it's from an older collection of theirs, but I had found these quilted pillowcases from the thrift store a while back, and I thought they would be the perfect thrift flip to recreate this type of sweater. I also purchased this teddy fabric to go along with it as well, so let's see if I can recreate this beautiful sweater. So for the design of the sweater, I'm going to duplicate one of the sweaters I already own. I already know that the fit is perfect for me, and it also includes a collar. If you are recreating this with me as well, you can use any sweater you prefer and then just add a collar with these measurements. Quilted elements of the sweater, since I am working with a limited amount of fabric, I created a sketch as a visual aid to know exactly where to cut the quilt. For the front yoke of the quilt, I'm going for a Western type shape. I think this shape is going to give a little extra detail to the sweater. And then for the back yoke, I'm just gonna go with a regular rectangular yoke. I would also like for the collar to have the quilted elements as well. So I will be cutting a collar piece out of the quilt fabric. Even though I really like the overall design of the sketch I made, I think adding front pocket like the C New York one would add another detail to this top, but I'll leave that to the end and see if we have any remnants from the quilt fabric. So let's get into cutting and sewing the top together. So I have most of my pattern pieces now from the teddy fabric for the bodice. I'm gonna cut out the sleeves a little later. I also cut out a collar piece from the teddy fabric as well to put on the inside of the quilted collar. I think that will be a cute little detail when the zipper is unzipped to see the teddy fabric on the inside. And now it's time for the super scary part of cutting out the quilt. Since it is symmetrical, I will be cutting it on the fold. This is going to be for the main front piece. For the back piece, I'm just going to add some rectangles from the second pillowcase because they came in a set. So yeah, very anxious to cut into the quilt, but we got this. Let's do it. So it's looking pretty good. I'm just gonna overlock the hems now so that it's easier to attach onto the bodice. And then we're gonna add the zipper. So I think this is a good point to add our zipper to our front panel pieces. And to do so, I think I will need to cut the collar into a front and back piece because I have so many pieces to attach to each other. I think this is the best route to take. I also need to attach the teddy lining on the inside of the collar as well. And I need the front part of the collar to be accessible and attached to this front panel right here so that the zipper is seamlessly attached on the inside. For sure there's a better and a more professional way to go about this, but I think for now this is the easiest way that I will be able to attach everything together seamlessly. So this is what the front quilted piece looked like once I pinned the collar onto the front. And next I just need to cut it down the middle so that we can add our zipper later. So then I just attached the front collar with a straight stitch across. So this is what the front panel piece is looking like so far. I had to cut it into two pieces to properly add the zipper. So I just overlocked the hems after I cut it in two pieces. And then I added a basting stitch to attach these two pieces together so that when we press open these seams, we can simply sew the zipper in place right here, right on top of the hems. And then once we seam rip open the basting stitch, the zipper will be revealed very neatly. So it's the next day now, and last night I just finished up this front panel piece right here. I also added a few more of the blue floral patterns to the front, just because I don't want the burgundy to be too dominant. I really like the ditzy floral with this floral right here. So I thought just adding that little detail will make it look a lot better. So the game plan for today is to finally attach this front panel piece to the front bodice. I also need to make the back panel for the back pieces as well, the back quilt panel. Then we have to cut out the sleeves and attach everything together, and the top will be all done. So I took the remnants that I had from the quilted pillowcases and just placed it on top of the back panel to see what I had left. I did have to attach a couple of pieces together to make one unified back yoke, but I think in the end it still looks as seamless as it could, and it still looks pretty good. At the end of the day, it is a quilt that we're working with, so adding in a few stitches here and there I think just adds to the beauty of the quilt. And so then I attached the back collar to the back bodice pieces, and this is what the front and back ended up looking like. Now that we finally have the front and the back piece with the quilted paneling on it, it's time to attach them both by the shoulders and then cut out the sleeves and attach the sleeves to the bodice. So I just had to pop it on to see what it would look like before sewing it together. I had a feeling this teddy fabric was a little stretchy, and it turns out that it is. So I am gonna have to take it in a little bit when I attach the sleeves and a little bit on the sides. But so far the color and everything is looking pretty good, so very happy about that. For the sleeves, I decided to make them like I did in my previous video for the jacket. So basically, I just laid the front and back pieces flat onto the fabric and traced the shoulder area. Then I just measured down how long I wanted my sleeve to be, adding a couple of inches at the bottom so that we can create the elastic cuff later on. And I just cut the fabric from there. Then I measured an elastic that fit comfortably around my wrist, and then threaded the elastic through the tunnel that we created for the cuff of the sleeve. And once you sew it all together, it looks a little something like this. Hope you enjoyed sewing along this pullover sweater with me. I cannot believe we took these pillowcases and turned them into a sweater. I do have a couple of things that I would do differently though. I would add the lining of the teddy fabric around the collar after I attached all the pieces together, just so that we don't see the seams on the inside. Another thing is that I would add a lot more seam allowance than I did to the front quilted panel piece. It's still not the best and still not very equal in the front, but I just need a break from it, and at some point I will go back and fix the uneven hems in the front. But I do really like the shape of it overall. If you do end up making a top like this for yourself, do tag me on Instagram at Modern Prairie. I would love to see you recreate this top as well. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.